Carson City School District Board of Trustees meeting. Today is Tuesday, May 27, 2025, and we are going to call the meeting to order at 6 p.m. We are going to start off with agenda item number 1, adoption of the agenda as submitted, and this is for possible action. Moved by Trustee Walt, second by Trustee Varner. Any board discussion? See none. Any public comment? See none. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 2, adjournment to closed session per NRS 2AA.220 to discuss labor relations with the district's management representatives, and this is for discussion only. So at this moment, we will move to the to our public meeting. It is 6:32, and we're going to continue with agenda item number 4, flag salute. Since Trustee Walker is not here, he is excused, by the way, he is ill. We're going to ask Trustee Clapham to please lead us with the flag salute.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Trustee Kaplan. Agenda item number 5, Superintendent's report, and this is for information only. Superintendent Feeling. Please. You're excused.
Good afternoon. Thank you, President Ramirez. So today we have some special guests. When I was in high school, I played sports, and I was very average, and that's a generous average, probably.
Somehow we don't believe it.
But we I was a center in basketball, I'm sure. However, there are high school athletes, and many here in Carson, that tend to be much better than average. And so tonight, we are recognizing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 students that will be carrying on to play at the collegiate level. So if you happen to be one of those high school students that is more talented in athletics than I ever was, and you are moving on to the collegiate level, if you could please make your way up here so we can have you introduce yourself to our board members. Don't all go at once. I know this is a lot. First one up gets to take a seat. All right, you can just kind of stand behind the table or take a seat here. Kale made it.
The young lady gets a chair.
What's that?
The young lady gets a chair, right?
Okay. Oh. Okay. So we have no extremely formal process to this, but if you could please just introduce yourself, your name, what sport you play, where you are going to school. I guess you're going first based on that shuffle. So your name, what sport you play, where you're going to school. If you want to give any other information, I don't know, trustees, I don't know, is there any other information you'd like for them? Blood type, anything along those lines?
I think you covered it.
Oh, positive. All right, we have a winner. Okay. Would you like to begin? Okay, and what are you interested in studying when you're in college?
Okay, my name is Danica. I'm going to Northeast Iowa Community College to play softball, and my major is rad tech. Rad tech is just studying like X-rays or MRIs. You can pick any like ultrasound, just different ones. My college is specifically for X-rays, so I'll be learning about the body and how to see them through like the imaging.
Excellent.
Yes, Sergio. You're Angela.
Is this thing on? Okay, yeah, just double checking.
You want to repeat the questions, AJ?
Yeah, can you repeat the questions? My name's Angelo Macias. I'm going to play at the collegiate level for football. I want to be an English teacher once I'm finished up, so I'm just gonna go down there and I'm going to the University of St. Mary's in Kansas. Can't wait. Thank you.
Right on.
My name's Dominic Porter, and I'm going to Mercehurst University in Erie, Pennsylvania to wrestle D1, and I'm going to study in geology for a Bachelor's of Science.
Right on.
I got one. Very good. My name is Sawyer Macy. I run cross country and track. I'll be going to Lehigh University to run Division I cross country and track, and I will be studying engineering.
My name is Joshua Lopez, and I'm going to Centennial College, Washington, to play soccer, and I'm thinking of studying business and marketing.
Do you want them to come up? Do you want them to come up, Rachel?
My name's Sergio Villanueva. I'm going to the College of Worcester, Ohio to play football, and my major is going to be computer science.
My name is Kylie Franco. I'm going to the University of Aurora in Illinois to play softball, and my major is history.
My name is London Bishop. I'm going to Carroll College, where I will be cheering competitively and non-competitively there. And I'm actually double majoring in biology and anthrozoology.
Right on. Next group.
I'm Ewan Cayley, and I'm going to swim for University of Redlands, and my major is going to be international and global business.
My name's Alondra Carrillo. I play soccer, and I'm going to go to Truckee Meadows Community College, where I'll be studying radiology.
My name's Kale Walt. I'm going to go to Eastern Oregon to play soccer, and I'm going to study fire science, which is just like firefighting.
My name is Elin Ortiz. I'm going to Wittenberg University to play Division III soccer, and I'm going to study pre-med. So I'm a major in biology and minor in chem.
Right on. Congratulations to each and every one of you. That's super exciting.
So just to explain for all of our student athletes here, if you're not familiar, the folks up here are the school board. They're elected by the community to represent the community. They are the ones over the years that have approved sports to happen in the schools, what sports happen in the schools, making sure all the classes that are available that you have taken, they help make sure all that stuff happens for you. So they requested to see you because you're kind of a big deal, and they're really proud of the work that they do when they see stuff like this. So trustees, I don't know if there's anything else you want to.
Comments from any of the trustees?
I will, I guess, but congratulations on your future and your college choices, and just wish you the most success that you can have, and we're really proud of each and every one of you. And somebody mentioned about maybe wanting to be an English teacher. We would like you to come back here and teach here when you get finished, but and all of you would like to see you back in the community working with the local community here, but congratulations.
Anybody else? Michelle?
Super proud of you guys. Good job being awesome. This doesn't happen just as a fluke or to somebody who is kind of lukewarm into the sports. This happened because you guys were students, and then in all your free time, you were athletes as well, and that you trained in the off season, you worked hard during the season, and you gave it your all to what you're doing, and it paid off. So enjoy the college experience. Go have a great time. Keep excelling and making your parents and community proud.
Anybody else? Molly?
Yeah.
Yep. Her son must be in the audience.
I knew I would, but so sorry. No, congratulations. Only 6% of high school seniors go on to play at the collegiate level. And, that's nationwide. So congratulations. You guys, I personally know how much you guys sacrifice to get where you are right now. And so congratulations. I wish you all the best, good luck, and continue to work hard because your dedication is what is needed.
I have a question. Can you raise your hand and let me know if you participated in AP classes or Jumpstart? Outstanding. Good job, guys. Well, again, to each and every one of you, as my colleague said, congratulations. And thank you for making your parents proud and continue making your parents proud. It's a wonderful thing. So congratulations, parents. Congratulations. And best of luck to you all. Big round of applause again, huh?
Oh, yeah. So if you guys all wouldn't mind, if you could kind of line up over here, they'd like to get a picture of all of you.
Hold on. Molly, do it again. Do it again. Oh, that's awesome.
Job, kid. Yeah. All right, students and parents, thank you so much for being here, giving this opportunity. We've never done this sort of recognition before, and I think high time to recognize all that effort that's happened. So thank you. Next this evening, if we could have Sawyer Macy come back up, and Betsy. There you are. You were hiding right next to him. So no, just stand. Just stand. Yeah, no reason to sit. So you both have helped the district out with one of our responsibilities, which is called the Family Life Committee. And I'm sure it was a lot of fun. Right? So, but we appreciate it. It's a requirement for us, and we appreciate that you are willing to help us out, even if maybe your parents twisted your arms a little bit or something along those lines. But as a thank you from the school board for that work, we have this for you, and just want to show our appreciation for that work. I don't know if trustees. Yeah. Thank you. And next, if we have Christopher Eskridge, Caitlin Nguyen, or Diana Ancott here. There's Caitlin. Come on over, Caitlin. Come over here. Come over here. This side of the room. Much better. No Diana, no Christopher? Okay. So, Caitlin, this is a thank you from the board for representing Pioneer Campus throughout the semester, the year, with all the information. I will tell you, you have been the most entertaining person to come and report on the activities. I've thoroughly, it's not often we talk about really thoroughly enjoying reporting on activities. Like it's fun to listen to, but you have made it so fun to listen to. So above and beyond, thank you so much. And this is a thank you from the board for your time. Yeah.
Caitlin, before you go away.
Caitlin?
Come.
I'm drawing blanks, you guys. I'm drawing blanks. Well, it's been my honor to represent Pioneer because I know that we don't have the best reputation, if I may be honest with you all. But I also know that there are so many good kids here, and there are so many good kids in the entire school district. And what I really love to do is just talk about you guys, and that just makes it fun anyway. And that just it fills up my cup so much that it bleeds into others. So that's why I like it. And thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to talk to you, and thank you for listening to my grading voice for since October.
Kaylin, I think you're a prime example of the outstanding students that we have at Pioneer, so thank you. And I do have a question for you. What is your major?
Architecture.
Ooh, exciting. I thought it was going to be public speaking because you're amazing.
I might someday.
There you go. Good. Any other questions or comments from the board? No? Yes? Richard, you're good?
I was just going to say, I think Superintendent Fueling pretty well stated everything, but it has been very entertaining listening to your reports. You're very well spoken, and we just really enjoyed it, and we have the utmost respect for you. And we know that you'll do very well in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Very good. Well, a big round of applause. Thank you, girl.
Okay. Really quickly, just a couple more things, but this one's kind of a big deal. With all of you here, our school board trustee, Mr. Varner, today is his 29th birthday. And we were hoping that you would help us sing happy birthday.
Oh, no.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Richard. To you. And many more.
Well, thank you very much. I owe you one. And as I said earlier, it was very hard for me today because I turned 40, which is a big deal. I wish. But anyway, thank you guys. Very unexpected.
Just last couple things quick. The Carson High had their Salute to Scholars Night where they awarded over $10 million in scholarships to students, or recognized the awarding of $10 million in scholarships, which is, it's a lot of money. That's pretty phenomenal, and I just think just speaks to the quality of kids we have up there. Last thing, on Thursday, the 29th at 5:30 at the Fandango is the last Mayor's Attendance Hall of Fame recognition event for students across the district. So trustees, if you're interested in attending that's coming up here pretty quick. And that is all I have.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So everyone is welcome to stay, or you may go and enjoy the rest of your evening. We just want to give you that option. Thank you so much for coming. All right, we will continue with our agenda item number 6, and this is board reports, board member comments, and this is for information only. Do we have a representative from Carson High School? Mr. Cooper, come on up. And then I will also invite Kaylin, if she has not left, to come up and do her report, or maybe she did leave. Okay, she's coming back? Oh, okay, wonderful. Mr. Cooper, you may begin.
All right. So we just recently finished AP testing on Carson High main campus. All those scores are in and submitted, and those will be graded over the summer. And then we're also just getting prepped for the end of the year, getting ready for finals. A lot of them have already been taken, but everyone's just pushing through these last couple ones. And then on Monday, June 2nd, we have our senior celebrations starting, which is senior awards. They'll get their caps and gowns, cords, and then there's a field day organized by early childhood education students. And then along with that, courtesy of Miss Tuttle and the elementary school principals. Miss Tuttle is the leader of the early childhood education program. They'll be able to wear their caps and gowns and walk around to their elementary schools that they went to, just to kind of reminisce the good times that they had. And yeah, basically that's it.
Sounds like an exciting week. Thank you so much. Kaylin?
Sorry, guys, I got a little bit excited.
Now you can be yourself.
Thank you for the card, by the way. I read it. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Caitlin Nguyen, and I will be presenting Pioneers announcements for this week. Our last dance, which was held on Friday, May 16th, was a huge success. I made a typo when I wrote this because it was like 12 in the morning, but our king and queen were Patrick Broussard and Tori Elliott, and our prince and princess were Adrian Hall and Maggie Uzel. We want to thank Little Caesars and Grocery Outlet for helping us with the food and decorations. I want to tell you guys that I'm in leadership, and as our final assignment, we were setting up the dance, and I was planning to go out later while we were cleaning up and, snag a little extra slice for myself as a leadership tax. And when I went out, we got 10 pizzas for free, and they were all gone. And I'm like, my personal disappointment aside, I can tell you guys that the students all enjoyed them very much.
Aw.
On May 15th, we held our induction ceremony for the final cruise of Pioneers National Honor Society. We're incredibly excited to work with Carson High in the coming years, and we're grateful for the chance to be able to celebrate ourselves independently. One last time. And this week, we're working with Pioneers online teachers and coordinators to make sure everyone gets their finals in. But we also recognize that this year, the district is working on maintaining productivity throughout the whole year, not just by the time the finals are done. So teachers have been planning extra assignments and activities for students to demonstrate their skills and just make sure that they remember them instead of just forgetting them over the summer. Nice. These activities include speeches, presentations, and figuring out logistics for a few surprises for students at the end of the year. I actually have to give a 10-minute speech tomorrow. You guys wish me luck.
Ooh, you got this.
And finally, we're excited about this year's graduation ceremony, which will take place at June 6th at the Carson Community Center. So you guys will already be here, right?
Yes,
Cool.
we look forward to it. Yep.
You're going to be coming?
Yes, we will be there.
Okay, cool. I'll be coming too then. I'm most excited personally about, if I may go off script here for a little bit, I'm personally excited about our history teacher, Mr. Echeverria, because he goes all out for his students, especially when he wants to get them into emotionally invested in classes. He wants to make them learn, right? So he was invited to give a speech at the graduation ceremony, and he's like, okay, but only if I can dress up as one of the historical figures I dressed up as for the whole year. And I'm excited for the George Washington because his wig is on a generational run. It's really good. I hope you guys can see it. Thank you. This is Caitlin signing off.
Thank you both, and we look forward to both graduations. So, all right. Agenda item number 7. Oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Nevada Association of School Boards, a NASB update. Trustee Varner?
Yes, I have a few things tonight, but I'll try to get through them quickly. We had our joint meeting with the NASB officers and the board of directors on May 16th, prior to our training, which was held on May 17th. And a few of the things that were discussed was perhaps clarifying bylaw number 6. And this actually pertains to the election of officers, just clarifying how nominations are accepted in the election process. So just some wording clarification on that.
Okay.
And then there was adjustment in the membership dues. The dues committee approved a 5% increase, or recommended, I should say, a 5% increase to the dues for this year. It was voted on and accepted by the joint board. So for Carson City, I think it means Spencer, $791 for our increase in fees this year for NASB. There was a discussion about the budget And right now, NASB's in a really good financial shape. And let's see, projected dues revenue. Yeah, basically, we're just in really good shape, and the budget was accepted and voted on and approved. And then there was an appointment to NIA Region 2 and 3 Board of Control, and it was a parent representative, and it was voted on, and this particular individual was approved, and I don't recall her name, so I'm sorry. Then the committee assignments were discussed, and they asked for volunteers to be on the nominated committee. We did have 2 people who volunteered, and then they asked for audit committee volunteer, and we had 1 for that. And these people were approved. And this year I'm remaining on the following committees. I'm on the nominating and awards committee, the audit committee, the membership dues committee, and the committee to participate in the evaluation of the executive director. Then there was a legislative update by Dr. Diane Nicolette, who is on the board, one of the officers of NASB, and also by a representative from our, trying to think, Tom Clark and Associates, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And the key highlights, I think, were given to everybody. I think everybody received an email with them.
From
But
Tom?
From Executive Director Harris. And I can cover just a couple of them real quick. As of May 16th, only 10 bills had reached the governor for his consideration or approval. Everybody knows that the Economic Forum revenues came in below projections, and that funds were drawn from the Education Stabilization Fund to cover education-related shortfalls. I think everybody knows by now that the PERS rate increase is 3-point-some%. There was some proposed changes on the federal Medicaid funding, and it was suggested or projected that this may lead to a special session sometime in September or October, depending on what the federal government does about reimbursement for Medicaid. There was discussion about fiscal year 2027 being even more challenging financially due to different impacts of budgeting impacts. And then everybody knows by now that there's 2 major education bills that have been introduced, one from the governor and another from the Senate leader, and I think those are still in discussion. Is that correct? Nothing has been passed? Yeah. And then one of the primary objectives from NASB is to maintain local control as a priority for the local school districts. And that'll be my report for NASB.
I think Molly had a question for you.
Sure.
I don't know if it goes through you or if it has to go through the executive director, but at the next executive meeting, can you bring it up to possibly have our trainings online? I know I've been asking, but I know it would help the rurals a whole lot as well, but it would also help the cost of the school districts if we could have online trainings, available rather than having to travel, like down to Vegas for
I did bring that
a
up at this
Saturday.
meeting.
And
it was discussed, and it was determined by the board that at this particular time it would not be feasible. And a couple of reasons is they don't have the equipment, no way to record this time. And then also some of the instructors, they may not want their material distributed without them being there or having control of it. So at this time, it was kind of agreed that not something they wanted to move forward on at this time. But I did bring it up.
Thank you for the update.
Trustee Rivers. If I could, I just
course.
wanted to add
Yeah.
on to Trustee Varner. So the two bills that you're referring to, SB 460 is the Speaker's, I'm sorry, the Senate Majority Leader's bill. And then I believe it's AB
584, I think.
584 is the governor's bill. There are differences between them, but I would say there's great similarity in terms of what I would consider rather draconian accountability measures that really kind of harken back to the early No Child Left Behind days with replacing principals and buildings, replacing board members, replacing superintendents, with a lot of kind of punitive measures and expectations from the state to take over in various ways. So if you care to keep track of that, I can share the legislature's Nellis website so you can track those bills if you care to. They are both, I think one is 110 pages and one is like 150 pages. They're extensive omnibus bills. Both of them have a couple things I'd say that are good, but there's a lot of pretty serious impact within both of those bills.
Thank you. Great. All righty. Board announcements. I will start with Michelle.
All right, so I've got some Mark Twain. They are looking forward to the end, which I think is something every single campus could echo at this point. Kids and staff are feeling that pinch as we wind towards summer break. This Thursday, the fifth graders are having their float parade. I'm not sure if all the elementary schools do this, but the fifth graders each are assigned a state to research, and then they have to create a float that they pull along behind them. And so they parade the halls, and all the classes come out and watch and see all the fifth grade classes. Every single student is pulling a float from some state. All four of my kids did those. They were a lot of fun, a lot of work, a lot of parent, but really cool to look at. So if you have free time Thursday, go check it out. They've had a lot of stuff. I'm not going to share it all, but I think the other thing I'll share from them that I think is pretty cool, a lot of schools, their mascot's the hawk, so they do hawk points. I know a lot of them you earn whatever, I don't know, their mascot dollars are. And then you can spend them in the school store for whatever you feel like redeeming it for. But I think my favorite one, some of the kids saved up all quarter and redeemed. And this is something our SROs have made some kind of an experience with them, a prize that can be purchased every quarter. And like one of them, it was just lunch. You could cash in your points to have lunch with the SROs, and Miras would rally the troops and they'd all go. Over Christmas, they did like a Christmas time minute to win it. It was something you could buy in. But this one was kickball with the SROs. And so about 15 kids saved up all their hawk points and cashed them in and had a kickball game against all the officers in their uniform. And some of them were more competitive than others, the adults and the kids. But it was a lot of fun, a lot of smiles, and I just think that's the coolest. Anytime you can have that interaction with the SROs, positive interactions with law enforcement, I'm all for it. So I love that the SROs were on board with that, and that kids saw that that was something worth saving their hawk points instead of cashing it in for candy or a treat. It was, I want to play with the cops, so that was cool. My Carson High report. I got a couple things I want to mention. I love a good collaboration, and there are three that I want to touch on. One of them is one that's always been around, and I'll lead it into the others. We had academic letters recently for the seniors, second semester, and the culinary provided cookies for it. I love that that's something that they can do, and in a way that they can work within the schools, and that the school can tap into putting the kids to work for something for themselves and for their peers. Another one that is really cool, they just had an athletic and FBLA both had reasons to be honored, and some of the engineering kids, they were tasked with coming up with 3D printed awards to hand out. And so instead of getting a plaque or a certificate, they have like the C for Carson C with the shape of Nevada in the middle, awards like that the engineering made for those moments. And then my absolute favorite one, the art class for their ceramics. They partnered with one of the elementary schools. I don't remember for sure, so I don't want to say. I think it was Fritch. Okay, good. It was Fritch. And had some of their students draw monsters. And then the monsters were given to the ceramics class to create into 3D real life creations. And so they molded them, colored them, fired them, glazed them, all that, and then presented them back to the kids like, here's what you drew and here's what I made. And I just think it was the coolest thing. It made me smile. And so I love that they did that. And I love the people who think outside of the walls of their classroom and look for opportunities to engage, not just in different departments of the school, like the engineering with the athletics and FBLA awards, but with the teachers reaching out to the elementary schools. I just think it's the coolest thing. So high fives for whoever's awesome idea that was, and for everybody along the way that said yes to it, so that everybody could have those experiences.
Nice, exciting. Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
My other one, sorry, Shark Tank. If you have not, every year, the CLS, the comprehensive life skills students, who are like the more advanced or more severe special needs that don't typically go into the regular classroom, they do a Shark Tank where they come up with a product and they work with their peer. They have their peer mentors in the class, and so they have, and their advisors, and they have to create the product and market the product. They have to come up with slogans and advertising and make a commercial and a business card and then present it. They have different celebrities from the district come, and the kids have to present why is my product good. And if you've ever seen the show Shark Tank, it's a similar thing where they ask questions and they challenge them and make an offer, and the kids walk away with Amazon gift cards for their hard work. And they did that this week in the library for a couple of days, and it was really, really cool. So if you ever get a chance, check in with Lance Hendy and figure out when he's got the next Shark Tank coming, because it's really neat to watch.
Thanks, Michelle. That's
That's
super
all.
exciting stuff. Yeah, thank you for your report. Rebecca?
All right, Fremont is gearing up to the end of the school year with some fun stuff. PTA Fun Run is tomorrow. Let me clarify, Dr. Ward, are those donations closed, or are we still? All right, so final push tomorrow morning. It's happening. And they're so excited. It's a really fun thing. It'll be starting at 8:30 in the morning, goes till about 11:30, and then they've also got a field day planned and a day with obstacles. So they'll have one of those bounce houses with the different obstacles in it, and each grade gets to go through. And I believe the grades with who had the most attendance during map testing earned some extra time in the obstacle course. And then watch for report cards. Those will be coming home on Thursday, June 5th. And that's it for Fremont.
Wonderful, thank you. Richard?
Yes, thank you. For Fritch Elementary, Principal Brown wanted to thank the many families who joined him and his staff for their annual family barbecue, which was held last Wednesday night. And he also wanted to thank all the Fritch staff for an incredible school year. Then for Boardwalk Bray, Principal Riquetta wanted everyone to know that their attendance carnival is coming up on Friday, May 30th. And they are looking forward to a great time for all. They're going to have bounce houses, face painting, cotton candy, popcorn, a cakewalk, and lots of games. On Tuesday, June 3rd, they will be celebrating their fifth graders with a special parade at 2:45 p.m. All fifth grade families are welcome to come and send off their fifth graders to middle school. Then all report cards and student items will be sent home on Wednesday, June 4th. And there will be no backpacks on the 5th. The last day of school will be celebrated with field day in the morning before students go home at 12:40. And she hopes that everyone has a wonderful and safe summer. And so do we. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, yes. Matt?
Thank you. So a report from Mr. Conley over at Eagle Valley. I am going to miss him first off because every time he emails me, he uses some great language. And it's not bad, but the first thing he said to me was "Yeppers!" So I just thought I would share that. The River Wranglers engaged in 7th grade students in a variety of watershed and environmental impact activity last Thursday, May 22nd. It was a great success. Students had a blast, and the River Wranglers were a stupendous group to work with for our staff and students. That's the second time you used stupendous in 2 weeks. So we have a variety of activities planned for the final week of May, including awards assemblies on Tuesday, June 3rd, 8th grade promotion celebration on Wednesday, June 4th at 10:30, and grade level activities on Thursday, June 5th. And Ms. Robinson reports that their award ceremony will take place this Thursday for students who have excelled this school year. Next week, we have field day and a yearbook signing party to celebrate the end of the great year. We'll also celebrate all of our promoting 8th graders with a party at the Governor's Mansion next Wednesday morning. And finally, the 8th grade promotion ceremony will take place next Thursday at 1:30. And they're excited to celebrate the school year with the students. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Matt. Molly?
So for Empire Elementary School, they will be having their annual STEM Fiesta night this Friday, May 30th at 5:30 p.m. The community is invited to see all the amazing things Empire Elementary students have done this year, and there will be games, food, vendors there as well. Ms. Virgil would like to thank the school district, the school board, for the fence that has been put up at Empire Elementary School. She said it is amazing. It has made a huge difference, and the kids love it, and it makes them feel a whole lot safer. So she thanks everybody for making that happen.
Wonderful, thank you. And for me, as Superintendent Phelan mentioned, the scholarship night was super, super amazing. Thanks to Mrs. Gordon and Ms. Campbell for putting that together. It was a wonderful event. I think we all enjoyed it, and we all had an opportunity to participate. So it was just wonderful to see that many students receive scholarships, and I really hope that they continue applying for scholarships because they're very well deserving of those scholarships. So, and then also congratulations to the students from Jumpstart who graduated last Monday at WNC. It was a wonderful group crossing the stage, and we look forward to seeing them again at the high school graduation on June 7th, right? Yeah, okay, good. So then moving on to agenda item number 8, public comment. I understand we don't have any.
Number 7.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I skipped number 7. Association reports, and that's we do have an association representative. My apologies. My apologies. Association reports, and this is for discussion only. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Dr. Jennifer Ward, and tonight I represent as the president of your Administrators Association. And with me tonight is our negotiation team of Ms. Gina Hoppy, Mr. Daniel Carstens, and Mr. Jeremy Lewis. We just wanted to take a moment of your time just to celebrate the end of the school year and all the crazy business that we are getting to experience. As you can imagine, we have students and staff and parents who are all anxious for the next 2 weeks. And so as we get started, we just wanted to have the opportunity to speak to you just for a moment. So I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Lewis.
Good evening. As Administrators Association, we first wanted to thank the board for your continuous support for all of the administrators in the CCSD. And we just wanted to make sure that you were aware that as an association, we oftentimes look to the strategic plan for our own alignment as an association, but also for our own individual sites. That is what we are doing at our sites. Is that in line with what is happening, what the plan for the district is? And specifically, we look at how we as administrators can continue to support staff recruitment, professional growth, right, shared leadership, our own staff efficacy and efficiency, all which align, in this case, to goal 1 of the strategic plan. And as the instructional leaders in the buildings, we play a central role in supporting and maintaining and implementing those district-wide goals. So we just want to make sure that as a board, you're aware of the scope that we take into account when we look at our own association, our own needs, our own flaws, and our own growth.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
My name's Dan Carson, principal at CHS. And again, I do want to echo what Mr. Lewis said. And sometimes the public perception of administrators isn't always the best, right? We're in our offices, behind a computer, behind a desk, but I know that your perception is not the same. And I appreciate that very, very much. I've been in districts where I felt valued, and I've been in districts where I haven't felt valued. And this is definitely one where I do feel valued, and I know our admin team does. So thank you very much for that. And really what I want to do is I just kind of paint a picture of what we do. Maybe not in a day, maybe not in a week, maybe a month, maybe a year, maybe at home, maybe at 2 a.m., It's just kind of painting that picture of what happens. But we have that mission and that vision that is on our shoulders. The motto, and we're honestly right now we're working on that stuff just to make it better and better. That's what we do. When I look at all the students that were up here, your heart swells with pride, and it reminds you of why you're doing everything. And so, we design our professional learning. Our district provides so many awesome resources. I mean, I can't thank you enough. And we hear, here's all the resources, but it is our job to figure out how all those resources fit together to make our school and our school system one cohesive unit. So the staff really looks to their admin. Somebody has to make the decisions. And a lot of times the buck, it stops right here. Our teachers look to our deans, dean looks to our VPs, VPs looks to the principal, and then I know I have support from district office and everything, but sometimes there's no one behind me to look to, right? And so that buck really stops with us, and we love it. We signed up for it, out of all of the different duties and additional duties that come on your plate when you least expect it. Those are some of those things that we have. And so I just continue to encourage you. Don't always look at the value of an administrator, but look at the value of a leader. And I believe that our admin team here isn't an admin team. It's a leadership team. And I know that they all work extremely hard to make this district what it is right now. So just think of that and invest in our leaders. And this was a very attractive district for me to come to. And I would just encourage everyone to just, let's keep that attraction going. There's a lot of people that look here, and there's a lot of good things that we're doing here. So let's keep it as the CCSD. So thank you all very much.
Thank you. Oh, okay. Comments? I'm sorry. I thought we had another person that was going to speak. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I can speak. That's fine. Gina Hoppy. I can say as I make the transition from Fritch to Eagle Valley, I know how much we have on our plate. And so having a foot in both doors, I know how overwhelming it is to end a year and begin a year. And that's where we're at right now. So that's it.
Thank you. Well, I would like to say thank you so much to each and every one of our administrators, because you guys do so much. and it's all for the students. And so we really appreciate your hard work. Please know that we really value your work that you put into your day to make, to educate our students and to send them off well. So thank you so much. Comments from anybody else?
I would just like to say, I think we all realize how hard you guys work, and we really appreciate it. And we're looking forward to continue to support you guys the best we can under the conditions we have to work with. And you'll always have our support. So thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. Okay. Now I can move on to agenda item number 8, correct? Public comment. I understand we do not have online public comment. Do we have in-person public comment? See none, then I will skip that statement, and we will move on to agenda item number 9, discussion and possible action to approve proposed health curriculum resources reviewed by the Family Life Advisory Committee during the 2024-2025 school year, and this is for possible action. Welcome, Ms. Sheila Story and Mrs. Tasha Fusen.
Good evening. My name is Sheila Story. I'm the chair of the Family Life Advisory Committee and the chief nurse for the Carson City School District. Thank you for allowing us to speak to you this evening in regards to the Family Life Advisory Committee and the success we had this year with our committee. Real quick, we had 4 meetings. They were all very well attended by our members, and we had some material that was brought forth to us from the middle school asking for some information on signs and symptoms of pregnancy. They felt this was an area that was, they didn't have a lot of information on. So we started this process last year, no, the beginning of the year, and then we went and researched some more information that we brought to the committee. And we have some really good resources that were sent to you. The committee has approved these 2 resources, and I know you guys got them in your board packets. So if you had a chance to read them, do you have any questions for us at this time?
I believe we all had a chance to read them. Do we have any questions or comments? Who would like to start?
Oh, I will. I just have the one question. I just want to reassure the public as well. This is part of the family life that if their child opts out, they can opt out of this, correct?
Can you
That
speak
is
up? I'm
correct.
sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Renee, can I hear you?
Wow, that's odd. So families can have their students opt out of this, correct?
Yes, that is correct. So in the beginning of the unit, a slip is sent home for families to read and review. And if they do want their child not to participate in all of it or part of it, they can do so. And other curriculum will be given to them, and they'll be asked to maybe study in the library and go through the alternative curriculum provided to them.
Anybody else? Richard?
Just a quick question. Page 1, it just talks about like the note on the language, and it talks about like pronouns. I don't believe there's a policy in the district, to my knowledge, but a teacher isn't going to be given consequences for not saying they versus woman or anything like that, correct? I don't like that paragraph, and I'm just curious if that's something that doesn't need to be in there, or since we don't have a policy for it, or do they have to stick with this saying those words?
So whenever we have material brought to the Family Life Advisory Committee for our review, it is part of a toolbox that they can utilize these to help implement the curriculum that they need to implement according to the standards. So they may not be using this whole packet or either of these packets, but I believe we do, or we have given our faculty and staff some guidance on how to present material in a more sensitive manner so we don't, we don't, disrespect anyone's values or beliefs. Is that correct?
Tasha Fuson for the record, just short and sweet to answer your question. No, no, teachers do not have to use this exactly as Sheila is saying to the T, exactly the way it's written. I had considered removing that, but this is not something we created. This is from a different district. And this is how it was presented to the Family Life Advisory Committee. So we absolutely can give guidance to teachers that any part of this in terms of recommendations for verbiage or language, et cetera, is not required by the district to utilize. You're talking about gender terms, or and we have not given our teachers specific directions on requiring them to use gender neutral terminology. So that part, like I said, we discussed potentially taking it out, but that would then be altering something that is already copyrighted and produced by a different district. So the intent of the Family Life Advisory Committee was specifically more for the lesson piece in terms of the information and the worksheets that were in this packet, because it's missing currently in our adopted curriculum. Signs and symptoms of pregnancy. There's not materials currently provided in our adopted curriculum.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Richard?
Thank you guys for appearing, and thank you for all the work you do on this committee. I know it's not easy sometimes to pick out the appropriate material for resources, but I do have a question on Lesson Plan Pregnancy Part 1. It says the target age range is 9 through 15. We're not really thinking about providing this to 9-year-olds, are we?
So Sheila, story for the record. So real quickly, when we do review these materials, each committee member is given a sheet of paper and they're asked certain questions. Is it a good visual? Do they have good information? All that good stuff. Is this something that would be appropriate? And then down at the bottom, it asks for, is it good for male and female or both? Then it asks for the grade level in which it is best appropriate for. And I believe we did pick this for middle school level and up.
So
Yeah,
Tasha Fuson as well, if you look in the executive summary, exactly what Sheila is stating is that this is what we're asking for is approval from the board to approve it for 7th grade in particular. So no, ages 9 and up would not be our target audience. But again, we didn't alter the material because we didn't create the material. So when it goes out to our staff, we have a resource list that you have all seen before. It's also posted on our district website, but it specifically says what grade level that it's been approved for, and it specifically lists the standards that it addresses. So it is very explicitly told to the teachers how and when it's appropriate, if that answers that
I
question.
think that answered my question. I just wanted to make sure that we weren't talking about pregnancy to 3rd graders.
No.
Thank you.
Okay. If I don't have any other questions or comments for this agenda item, I will entertain a motion.
I could go ahead and make a motion.
Okay.
If I could find it here. Okay, here. I move that the Carson City School District Board of Trustees approve the health curriculum resources reviewed by the Family Life Advisory Committee during the 2024-2025 school year, which will be included in the Family Life curriculum for the Carson City School District.
Second.
Okay, so motion by trustee Varner, second by trustee Peterson. Any board discussion? See none. Any public comment? See none. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much for all your work and for this, information that is very, very important for all of us to be aware of.
Thank you very much for having us here this evening.
Okay. Agenda item number 10, presentation of the budget preparation timeline and introduction of the topics for the public hearing on the budget for fiscal year 2025-2026, including brief discussion for discussion only. Welcome, Mr. Spencer Winward.
Thank you, members of the board. I might need some assistance with the password here, since our computer was closed earlier on in the meeting. It says one-click wonder, but I think there's a little more to that. And Renee is the keeper of all passwords, so.
Well, what? Hold on. Oh, really?
You always make a mistake if there's people watching you type your password. It's just.
That's how it is. Okay.
Thank you.
As always, Renee, you rock. Thank you.
Fixer of everything, I think, is her official title. All righty. So will it just take a second to connect to the screens through the room here?
No? Did not work?
When they, here. Mm-mm. No. Nope.
Never doubt the fixer of everything.
You can't. Okay.
Thank you. All righty, thank you, members of the board. Apologize for the slight delay there. I just kind of want to go through what are the budget presentation timeline that we have, just to kind of where we're at in that, what comes next. To assist them, particularly some of you this is your first time around through this. After that, we'll talk about the revisions to the capital plan and the CIP. Mr. Johnson will assist with that, and then we'll present the budget presentation and resolution. So to start off with, the timeline here, of course, our budget planning, really it's ongoing year round, but for the intents of this, we say that kind of starts at the beginning of January, where we're looking at where we're sitting currently for this year, where things are looking next year. We start to look at revenue projections for the upcoming year and start to take all of those inputs into our budget planning. February 15th, we receive projections of revenue from taxation. And then we use those and other inputs from NDE to generate our tentative budget, which we presented to you on early April. And we provide that to taxation by April 15th per statute. From that time till now, we do fine tuning on the budget. You guys got a good look at the budget of that tentative budget, that column. And as we continue to gather information, we use that to update the tentative budget to the final budget, which is the document that's provided to you in your packets. Per statute, we advertise the budget hearing notice, and that happens in the newspaper. That was published on May 14th and May 17th. Brings us to the little UR here on our map that if you were looking at the mall and see where to get to, that lets you know where you're at. And of course, today is a budget hearing. And then we will discuss the final budget. That's due to taxation on June 8th. And then what happens, particularly in the legislative year, late June, early July, we have 30 days after the close of the session to amend our budget if necessary. We'll see if there's any drastic changes from what the projections we have. If there are, then it's likely we will amend the budget. If there's only minor items, oftentimes we can get by till December 31st when we can do our final budget amendment with current enrollments that are known, and our audits are wrapped up generally by then. And so we know what our beginning balances are audited and can incorporate those into our budget. A couple of items of interest. This is the first year of the biennium. We know the session's ongoing right now. That ends June 2nd. Typically 1 to 2 weeks after that, we have finalized numbers and we'll know if we need to amend our current final budget. And then also, just as we discuss frequently, that gradual decrease in enrollment continues to affect our funding. Our capital projects for FY26. We're prepping for our large projects of the conclusion of FY25 and the start of FY26 summer, where that kind of tricky, where our busy season spans the end of one fiscal year and the start of another. So shortly we'll discuss capital improvement plan revisions. And then we do have some pretty big projects going on this summer that will use a lot of our bond funds and capital fund dollars. And then once the summer dust kind of settles, we will revise our capital improvement. And typically, once we know what projects have been completed, we get another round of input from our bond oversight committee and make adjustments to that in December. So any questions or comments about this process?
Thank you. Questions or comments from the board? None so far? No questions? No comments? We're good.
All righty.
Thank you. All right, so agenda item number 11, discussion and possible action to approve the revised capital improvement plan for the Carson City School District for fiscal year 2026, 2020-30, and this is for possible action. Mr. Spencer Winward and Superintendent Feeling and Mr. Mark Johnson, welcome.
Thank you, Madam President. Again, this will just kind of be going in a little bit more detail, the revisions to our capital plan and what we have going on this summer. I'll let Mr. Johnson take over the microphone and work his magic.
Mark Johnson, for the record. I did not get to meet the new board members. Mr. Fueling wouldn't let me come to that meeting. He keeps me away from new board members and old board members and public. There's a reason. Unlike Mr. Fueling, I have 3 college degrees, but like Mr. Fueling, I have 3 college degrees, but I played college ball 2 years off of the bench at Frederico's College of Beauty. Do you have this for them in their packet?
Yep.
This is the capital budget that we're proposing. You have this before you. It's similar to all the years before. We've upped a few items on the district-wide asphalt, $400,000. I'm proposing to do, this year we're doing 3 locations for slurry seal, or 2 locations for slurry seal and 3 locations for repaving. Some locations right now we're slurry sealing the South Teachers parking lot, Seeliger Elementary, and then we're paving in front of Fritsch Building A, Empire Basketball Court, and Carson Middle. So I'm requesting, because we've done a condition assessment for our paving, and I'm trying to keep up with that. I've got 6 locations next year I'd like to do, so I've asked them to up that. I do crack seal, seal coat every year on a regular basis to keep up with our condition assessment, so I asked to do more on the slurry seal for next year. I won't go down every item unless you have questions. I'll go to some of the bigger items. We're looking at
Mark, if I could.
Sure.
On the paving asphalt, what about the where the teachers park by CMS? CMS.
Which part? Across the street?
Across the street.
I'm doing that this summer.
Okay, that's included.
That's the one I'm doing this summer.
Okay, thank you.
That's the one of the 3 I'm repaving.
Yeah, I thought we talked about that earlier. So
we've been trying to do that for like 4 years. We're finally doing that this summer.
Good, thank you.
Yes.
On that note, really quick, is that why there's such an increase? Because it was in
The
FY
$400,000 is for this next year. I've already got it paid for. It's encumbered for
Okay.
this year, is what Spencer said. I've already got it paid for. We've already awarded a contract for it already,
Okay.
for the slurry seal and the pavement. It's already paid for. We've awarded it. We haven't set the schedule. It's just going to be during that summer. Our pre-construction meetings going to be taking place, and they just need to send us the schedule. It's going to happen during our summer months.
Because what I was looking at is in FY '25, we had projected 150,000, and now
That's for different things. That's for my regular pavement maintenance where I do crack seal. I've got like 9 that I'm getting proposals on off of that 150 for like crack seal, seal coat, repaving parking lots, district-wide.
Okay.
For like, I'll spend like $10,000, $15,000 at a parking lot, playground, district-wide. That's where the 150 goes.
and so then this year you're asking for what then an additional
Next year,
or this next fiscal
Or
year
next
you're
Yes.
asking for an additional 250.
yes. Mhm.
An additional. Okay.
Which will be for bigger projects for the slurry seal. Because like right now, helping to give you a quick geotechnical, you can repave a parking lot, but to prevent that from having to repave it, you can slurry seal it, what puts a
Right.
lot of oil back in it, or you can fog seal it or seal coat it. The better, it'll last 5 years on a slurry seal to help that. And I'd like to slurry seal more of our parking lots or playgrounds. It lasts longer. It costs a little bit more, but it lasts
But it's
longer.
worth it.
Because I've been seal coating them and I've been crack sealing, and when it gets the cracks in there, that prevents the water from getting down into the sub base.
Okay.
And that's what I do with that 150,000 district-wide. And the rest of the items, I'll say are self-explanatory, but I'm open for questions on these. I've got my notes, and I will go.
I do.
Sure.
Doing a comparison, from FY '24, '25 to the '26.
And most of these are just, a lot of times are job-specific.
Right.
Like we didn't do it last year, and this will be a specific job or project that we
Right.
might be doing.
So I
So they
guess-
won't be equal or identical, but go
Yeah.
ahead.
So I have just a question, if you can educate me. So when you go for revenues, it says projected increase by previous year. So in FY '24, we said 1.6%, '25, 1.16%, '26, 1.16%. Why would you go to project in FY '27 at 5%? Where is that revenue coming from? Where do we think that additional revenue is going to come from?
5% has kind of been the default that we've used over the years. And generally, as we kind of get some better, like we will sometimes kind of adjust those down. The last few years, like FY '26 is more kind of what we know based off of taxations estimates, and that's where we go with that 1.16. So as we look and get into FY '27, we may do a more in-depth analysis to decide, do we want to move from that default 5%? Because as we look at the last 3 years, they've been lower.
Right.
And we would adjust those.
Okay, yeah, so I was just kind of wondering why we would go up to 5. Moving down to expenditures, so in fiscal year '24, we had 150,000 for land acquisition, and that was, spelled out that it was the LAMPA. When we did in that budget, it says the LAMPA 10 acres was 150,000 for FY '24. What would this 200,000 be for?
So the 200,000, the 150,000 for the LAMPA has not been spent yet, but we still intend, we may need to spend that this year. It may be the year coming. So we've just rolled that budget authority forward. And we've added 50,000 there in case there are some acquisition costs we need if we look at other land options towards that may become available to us. And as the LAMPA happens, if it happens at the 150,000, there's no other additional cost to that, then we could allocate that other 50,000 to other projects, or it's available if we needed it to explore something that may come available.
Okay. And then under expenditures, the plumbing and the mechanical is something that is new.
Oh, now is that the HVAC?
No, the HVAC, you've been, in FY '24, it was 200,000, nothing in FY '25, and then 750 is what we're projecting in FY '26. But then underneath that, it's the plumbing and the mechanical, and we've never had that before, and that's in at least since I've been here, and it's an added 550,000. So what's going on with our plumbing?
So we kind of put a placeholder there, not sure what we would have, but we found some pretty good surprises with our Carson High bathroom remodel.
Okay.
As well as just a lot of our buildings, we're looking at 30, 40 plus year old infrastructure, and find that when we open these up with projects, we're finding that they're not in as good a condition as we hope, and we've had some additional costs there. So we've kind of put that there, not intending to spend that all this year unless we discovered something that was just completely catastrophic. But it's just kind of a placeholder that as we do these other projects, sometimes we have things opened up and it makes sense to spend $40,000 or $60,000 to repair some plumbing that is not in good shape. For example, at Carson Middle, we have a very old building and some additions. There's a high likelihood as they get in there and open things up, we find that, it would make sense while we have this torn up, let's spend a little bit more and repair this plumbing.
Okay.
So that we're good for another 60, 80 years.
Okay. So I'm hoping that's what, if we move on to Carson High School, so I'm kind of hoping that's what it's just a rollover, but please tell me if it is not. But in FY '24, we had stated that we were going to do $400,000 in gym bleacher replacements, but now it's back in FY '26 for
So,
400,000.
Yeah, we have yet to do that replacement.
Okay.
And
Is that-
that's kind of a placeholder where we don't have actual bid numbers yet. We anticipate that's likely going to be higher than 400,000 when we do go that route.
Okay. And is that the same then for the HVAC upgrades? Because we had in FY '24 and then again in '25, we had 1 million for Carson High, and then in FY '25 we were looking at 5 million. So is that where we're kind of?
So
have we done those yet?
We originally had that project slated for this summer, but for a myriad of reasons have postponed it a year.
Okay.
So that same amount we've just rolled to this year and next year, because that'll be an FY '26, '27 summertime project.
Okay. All right, so then I think that is pretty much what is kind of the rest of my questions as well, is if they were on a fiscal year, like 2 years ago to be budgeted, and if they're still on it today, we just haven't gotten to it.
That's
Correct?
generally the case.
Okay, thanks.
I would just add to one of the with this budget, what's really hard is you have a lot of the projects are happening over the summer. And so you have maybe half the project that is happening in the current fiscal year, half that is happening in the next fiscal year. And so some of Spencer's work is trying to figure out where we are in terms of money available as we go into this year, but then also looking to, some of those costs are already in the FY '25 budget, but they may not all be spent, and they may come up after July 1st, or the work may be done after July 1st. So then you're kind of playing both sides of those fiscal years, and that is it's kind of frustrating. It'd be easier if you could just plan, this is what the summer costs, but it's just not the way it works out.
So then I guess lastly, did we have then a carryover of funds? So like in FY '25, we had thought that we were going to, spend a total of 23 million, total applications of 23 million. Did we spend all of that?
We did not. If you look at the beginning balance in the budget for FY '26 at 16.1 million, we would have had nearly all of that 23 million budgeted. Perhaps not quite all, but a good chunk of that, especially because we had 6 or 7 million tied up in that HVAC project that was rolled an entire year back. So there's quite a bit of carryover from unspent projects in FY '25, '26 that or FY 24-25 that are now budgeted in this capital improvement plan. That's where it's kind of the living document. You know, we get it all hammered out and this is what it should be. And then real life doesn't line up to what we had on paper. So we're constantly making adjustments and changes to match what our projections will be and what actual is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great carryover, so I'm not complaining. It's 16 million, not at all. I do, though, if it's possible to work at to letting us kind of know, you know, when we get this, what has been done and what's kind of a carryover. So then we're not looking, you know, saying like, for example, the gym bleacher replacements. When I look at this here, just in today's packet, I look at 400,000. And I'm like, hold on a minute. I know that back in fiscal year 24, we did another 400,000. What are we doing? One, the right side, the left side on 2 different years?
Not been done.
Right. So if we could just maybe put that in future budgets going, you know, didn't do in fiscal year 24, it's the project carryover. Maybe something to that would be helpful for us up here to be able to see what project was carried over and not finished. Thank you.
I have just one quick thing.
Richard?
On the land acquisition of the Lampa Ranch, are we still receiving the $1,000 per house is being built? And are we getting that money in?
Yes, we are receiving that and keeping it in a separate account.
Okay, so this land acquisition, that 200,000 or 150,000, that's being paid for by that money we're getting from those houses?
The 150,000 represents our portion of that. The remainder of the cost of the land would be made up by the $1,000 per lot that we receive
Right,
from
so
that
we haven't
development.
paid the 150, then that'll be carried over to next year probably until we get
Right.
paid.
The way that agreement, the specific plan for that area, the sale price on that land was $2 million. And the Lampa money coming in that we're collecting goes toward that. What our obligation of that 2 million is to pay 150,000 actually out of our own funds.
Rebecca?
Yeah, just a question on some of the projects being new to the board. Safety's really important for the students, so I would just like to learn more about access control phase 3, like what phase 1 and 2 were, what's planned for 3, and then also at Carson High, what safety upgrades are being looked at.
Let me start at the 3 and go backwards. We're at 94% complete. I looked at that today, and the last part of that's Carson High School. The access control, or I don't have my.
Yeah.
It's the swipe cards to get in. They're finishing up the elevators, which I think they did that. And then at the staff location, it's to get access at all the doors at the main entrances, the back entrance, the playground. The high school doesn't have the playground. They did the first access control to get the main entrances and some of the playgrounds. Then they realized, and our risk manager goes, well, we need more of them. So phase 2 went back and reevaluated the schools and got more of the locations. Then after phase 1 and 2 goes, the principals got involved and go, well, we need one over here, one over here. So phase 3 came around, and hopefully he's going to probably get like 99% of them, because after phase 3 is done, they're going to go, well, we probably should have added one here. We've done a couple change orders through this and added a couple locations. We're like in an interior office at Carson Middle that's going to give us access control. And one of the main things is that the teachers can get access through this without having the keys to the main entrances, and also gives control through the schools that they can lock down the schools at any one time. They can also close the school down on the weekends, so teachers can't get in there on the weekends at certain times, or they can get in there during certain times on Saturdays or Sundays and then close the schools down. So we're almost done with phase 3 at that part of it.
What safety upgrades at the high school are being looked at?
Where's that one at?
It's with perimeter fencing and safety upgrades.
Perimeter fencing, that's a brand new project. Van Wart Bogoti is our architect on that. At the very north end, you know where all the main glass doors are, where they come in at the student parking lot, we're going to fence that in, and we're trying to get a secure access to the school. We have a secure access on the south end where the kids are supposed to go in that way, but they go in all hours of the time. We're getting a secure access fencing. We're getting that designed right now by Van Wert Bugatti. So like if the kids come in there, and then you know on the west side where we have the towers, there's doors there where like if kids call in, hey, they call their friend, hey, will you come and open the tower door? Well, we're gonna alarm all those doors as well. So like if you go open the door for me, that alarm's going off. So the principals and vice principals or deans will get an alarm and say, oh, Tower 3's. Well, we'll have cameras out there as well. So they'll have your picture and my picture, but we'll have them, it's gonna be a learning curve right at first. So that's gonna be able to call us in and say, don't do that. And we're gonna have it signed, you know, can't use these during these times. Those doors on the towers will be for egress only, leaving. The alarms will go off. And then in the front where the student parking, and it's going to be an operational thing on the high school side, that once those kids come in after that's locked down, you got to go to the front, to the main front entrance and sign in. A kid can't come and open those doors for them. So that's being designed right now. Hopefully we can get that built this summer, hopefully.
Thank you. And I appreciate that. My niece was just talking to me about people coming from all directions, and I thought, oh,
And
I don't like that, I don't think.
And you
so I
drive,
appreciate you
I go
addressing
there
that.
all the time, at any time of day to go check on a project, and you can see kids going like this, and that's not a secure entry.
Right. So thank you. Thank you for addressing that and answering my questions.
Yeah, I think that has been a concern for many of us, so we appreciate that clarity. Yeah. Excellent. Okay, so if there are if there are no other questions or comments, I will entertain a motion for.
I guess I can make the motion.
Okay, Richard, go ahead.
The Carson City School District Board of Trustees approve the revised capital improvement plan and the opening balance fund 300 capital projects for fiscal years 2026 through 2030.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by trustee Varner and second by trustee Roberts. Any board discussion? See none. Any public comment? See none. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much for all that work. Okay. Agenda item number 12, discussion and possible action on the final budget, including adjustments to the tentative budget for the Carson City School District for fiscal year 2025-2026, including adoption of a resolution approving the final budget and transmittal letter. And this is for possible action. Mr. Spencer Winward.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. This will just kind of complete the budget presentation that the CIP was part of. To start off with, I kind of wanted to just show an overall pie chart of our expenditures by fund. I don't know how good your eyesight is. The blue, the largest section of that, is the general fund, which comprises 57% of our spending. And this is just kind of to show you a little bit of everything that we have. And then, of course, a lot of those funds that we have mirror the general fund spending, and then others are closely mirror with additional restrictions that those funds have. We have the bond fund that's 11% that we just talked about. That's all been outlined. And the reason I show this is why we spend so much time talking about the general fund, because it's the bulk of what we do. Several of the other smaller funds mimic what the general fund does, sometimes with the exception of just being more salary and benefits, because there's less services and supplies in there for those that are specific to positions. And then just to kind of give you an idea of, this is all of the funding makeup, or all of the expenditure makeup of everything that we do in the district. So the budget document that you guys had included in your packet, I'll just kind of go through, similar to how I've done in previous presentations, just go over the total revenues and expenditures and where our projected deficit is, because we are anticipating some deficit spending, reducing some of our reserves because they're in a very healthy position, and sometimes we need to do that. So unchanged from last time is 80.8 million of our general fund revenues, and then a slight change. We have 85.4 million of general fund expenditures. That brings our taxation deficit. If you look on page 2 of the budget, that shows that 4.6 million. Of course, that includes 1 million in contingency. We don't anticipate on spending, but it's there for a just in case. And then also just slightly over $200,000 of our carry forward amount is in that as well. If you remove those from the taxation deficit, it gives our structural deficit of 3.4 million. As you recall from the tentative budget, we are 3.5 million. So we have squeezed blood from a turnip and got a few more drips out of there to reduce that just slightly by almost $100,000. But feeling pretty good about that estimate. And again, as in years past, we've projected a deficit, but not always had that. At this level, we do anticipate there will be some deficit spending in reducing our reserves to keep and maintain the services that we have been, while being cognizant of future years' expenditures, making sure that we don't commit ourselves to a situation that would be drastic for the district for future years. Any questions on that before I move on?
Questions? See none?
All righty. I heard someone here likes graphs, so I've included a few more, and they are very, very visual. So again, this is just the same pie chart that showed all of our expenditures. It just shows those same expenditures of the general fund, that 57%, broken out by object area. So as you can see, our salaries and wages is the bulk of our expenditures, 57% salaries and wages, 30% benefits for 87% of our total expenditures. Services, supplies, and other equals 13%. So we can trim, if you remove people from the equation, you can trim and cut and do everything and maybe make a 1% difference in that service, supplies, and other, and it barely moves our budget. So that's one of the difficulties in building this, is we're very personnel heavy. That's just the nature of education. And so we're always cognizant of making sure, are we too heavy in positions? Do we have things that we don't need? We look at that to make sure that, because that's where the bulk of being able to save funds comes from. Highlights of changes for all of our funds. So throughout all the funds, we've updated the salary and benefit numbers to our latest projections, including a few more resignations and retirements that we didn't have at tentative budget time and at our last presentation. And overall, those are slightly lower. One trend that's different to that is our special education fund. It's slightly higher for salary and benefits numbers. I'll discuss a little bit more as I talk about special education fund. One other thing you may note in our general fund, the SP 231 funds, both revenue and expenditures has been removed from that and back to a special revenue fund. It's really a net zero change as we remove 2.6 million of revenue and also 2.6 million of expenditures from the general fund and put it back in a special revenue fund, similar to how it was accounted to for this year. And that's based off of where we think that's going to land when the legislative session is done. We'll know shortly after June 2nd if that's the case or not. But that's what we've done based off the most current information that we have. We did include a slight increase for liability insurance, as we've seen some increases on that. I don't have final numbers, but the last projection I had for that is very favorable. It likely won't include all that increase, which would just ultimately move that, would potentially lessen our deficit at the end of the year. So that's good news if that shakes out how we're hoping that it does. A slight decrease in overall fund transfers from the general fund. Again, special education funds slightly higher. The PCFP funds, EL at risk, and GATE funds are slightly lower. EL is English learners. GATE is gifted and talented education. I'm sorry, I try not to use too many acronyms without explanations at least once. New this year, there's a small transfer to our summer school fund, as over the last couple of years, ESSER funds have managed those expenses. We did have some residual funds in there, but we have budgeted for a little bit of that to cover our summer school expenditures. Another graph here that just kind of shows the expenditures by program of general fund. And again, the bulk of that is regular education. That's what we do, 44%. Support services, which are very closely tied to regular education, and you could probably argue some of this could go one way or the other, but this is how we delineate it. The state works to try and get this similar from district to district, even though there's probably some variability from one district to another. Example of support services are paraprofessionals, bus drivers, some more grant personnel, our nurses. Those are all examples of support services that they may have direct face-to-face contact with the student, but they may not. The two of those make up the bulk of what we do. Our fund transfers, 11% goes to special education. Again, that's going to be broken up very similar to this. One thing I kind of like to highlight is our co-curricular and extracurricular. That's 1% of our overall budget. Occasionally I'll get questions like, why do you guys do sports? That's so expensive. In the overall scheme of things, it's not a huge amount. I think we saw a pretty good example today of what sports does for educators. We saw students who are going on to continue their education and further their sports careers. It really gives you a pretty good bang for your buck as far as being able to increase educational opportunities beyond the classroom. Moving on to other funds, outside of the general fund, our PCFP funds, so the EL special or EL at-risk and GATE funds. Our funding is slightly reduced from the previous biennium for those. There are a lot of factors that go into that. So, and again, less revenue there is going to equal higher transfer from the general fund and or shifted expenditures to the general fund. Sometimes it just might make sense for us to move a position that was previously funded by one of those to the general fund as opposed to increasing the transfer. And then also a third thing there could be a reduction of services. Again, we really try to not reduce that at all and do so only as a last resort. Our adult education funds, nominal changes from the tentative budget to the final. And as usual, every available dollar we have is budgeted for expenditure. And those programs will continue fairly similar to they have over the last couple of years. Our state grants fund, nominal changes. The largest one is this is where SB 231 came to reside. So there is, aside from other nominal changes, there's that 2.6 million increase in revenue and expenditures for this fund. Of course, these grants are managed through ePage, which is Nevada Department of Education's web management system for grants. That's turned out to start to work fairly well. And then we're able to change these funds. They can be self-augmenting as we find more information or get increased revenue or decreased revenue throughout the year. Our special education fund also has nominal changes from the tentative budget. We did have to move a couple of positions to special education, and these are necessary positions that we need to meet our maintenance of effort. And those have moved from some grant funding sources to special education. As we know, that's a very fluid situation now, and we'll continue to monitor this throughout the year and may see some changes in December as we know more as the federal fiscal year ends and new one starts, how that will look. Local grants, very nominal changes from tentative to final. This is also self-augmenting as we may receive funds we weren't aware of throughout the year. We can augment that budget if we were to receive a local grant that we weren't aware of at budget time. Federal grants, Fund 280, a few changes here, mostly related to the special education grants. Again, we had a couple of reduction in funds there, and we've made those changes to move positions from here to special education. These are also managed through ePage through Nevada Department of Education and receive increased monitoring through that through NDE's teams.
Spencer, could you just explain just with a couple new board members, explain the self-augmenting, like what that really means, what that means?
So the funds that are self-augmenting means that we can increase our budget authority throughout the year. With our general fund, our PCFP funds, our special education fund, bond funds, capital projects funds, those are not self-augmenting. What we budget now is what we can use. Up until December, we can make it a budget augmentation at that point in time for those funds. With these that are self-augmenting, for example, a federal grant, if a new grant came about in September or October 1 at the beginning of the federal year, we're able to adjust that fund, and it's managed through ePage. So there's additional scrutiny and eyes on funds like that throughout the year through those systems, but we're allowed to increase our budget for those items throughout the year without needing to do the full process of augmenting a budget, which would include advertising the newspaper, having a budget hearing, public input, and going through all of that. So that's what a self-augmenting fund is. Again, just to kind of recap our local grants. So Fund 260, Fund 270, which are gifts and donations, and Fund 280 and 240 are all self-augmenting, meaning we can kind of adjust those on the fly. The others, it's a little bit more of a tedious process, and unless something changes drastically in the legislature, we're not anticipating a change to those till December. Any questions up to this point?
Questions? No questions.
All righty, moving on. Our Nutrition Services Fund, we did have some pretty good changes here as we received some updated revenue projections from our food service management partner. We had some more data to input to that based off of having a year or almost a year of non-universal free meals. So revenue projections were slated to be lower than what we showed in the tentative. I feel good about the number. It's what I would say is closer to accurate, where the others were a little bit too inflated, in my opinion. So I like what we have in there better. Currently, we show a slight increase in fund balance for Fund 290. That might be a little optimistic, just to be honest, but I'm comfortable using what our food service management partner has created. And then as we see some changes throughout, the first couple of months of next year, we can see if we're on target for those or if we should make an adjustment in December. Our contract renewal for our FSMC, our food service management company, is currently pending. I would anticipate you guys see something on the next board meeting regarding that. We have been through the RFP process, and that contract's currently with NDA for review. Once their review is finalized, then it comes to you guys for final approval, and then we execute that contract. Here's just kind of an update to what we anticipate to charge for our meals next year. We had some pretty good increases last year coming off of universal free. A couple of things that go into this. We do some projections based off the Department of Agriculture, and their recommendations say we should add 50% per meal to kind of keep up with the going rate. We kind of feel that would not do a service to our families in the community to increase prices that much. We do have to increase them on average for lunch at 10 cents per meal. We've opted to increase elementary by 25 cents per meal, hold middle school the same, and increase high school by 25 cents per meal. Those have to be weighted averages based off of actual usage of those meals. That does come out to be a 10 cent per meal increase to comply with federal regulations. We feel if we went much higher than that, what we would lose in participation probably would offset any gains that we would get by a drastic increase. We've typically have done that similar to when we need to increase, kind of stay at the minimum, knowing that may at some point result in a deficit, but we feel that's doing the best thing for our community to not have such a drastic increase all at once. Any questions regarding that?
Any questions? No? We're good.
All righty. Next funds that are in the budget are our Capital Projects Fund, Fund 300, and bond funds. Those are both covered in the CIP. The budgeted items have been updated to match our CIP as required by statute. And Mr. Johnson covered those fairly in depth. So if you do have any further questions, I would do welcome those. If
I think
not,
we're
I'll
pretty clear on that.
I'll go ahead and move on. Our Debt Services Fund, this is essentially the fund to pay the mortgage on our bonds. A couple of updates just to reflect the interest and principal of our projected bond payments. One thing I will mention we didn't cover with the capital improvement plan, we did update our pay-as-you-go funds that are available. That's approximately $4.5 million. And what that number represents is that's money that we could pull out of our debt services fund and use for a capital project. That takes us down to the bare minimum of what we're required by statute, which is 50% at the beginning of the year of what our bond payments are. So if we were to pull all that out, that could potentially affect future bonding. It is available there if needs be. And we may in years 27, 28 elect to use some of that, but just want to let you know that that's what's available currently as things stand now. Some items that will affect the final amended budget in December. Obviously, the biggest thing is finalization of the legislative session. If there's drastic changes, that could cause us to amend the budget 30 days after the close of the session. If it's pretty close to what we have projected, then we anticipate not making a change until December. There's a lot of volatility with federal funds right now that may come into play in what our December budget looks like. And our enrollment comparisons, as we look at our projections versus what actual are right around the beginning of October when the dust has settled, we kind of know what the year looks like. That could potentially affect how our budget looks like. And then once all of our positions are filled or mostly filled, and we know actuals versus our estimated staffing costs, we may make adjustments there as well. We could see some updates to the nutrition fund because, again, we'll have a couple more months of data of how things are looking with those new prices and may adjust things up or down depending on how projections are going at that point. And then also just our further fund analyses as we're looking through that may create input for that December budget. Any questions or comments?
That's a lot of information here, so I'm sure that there's a lot of questions. Go ahead, Richard.
Number one, thank you for the work you do in this. It's not easy to prepare a budget like this. But I just got a quick question. And on page 6, on budgeted resources, under other funds, if you go down, you see gifts and donations. And for some reason, it's $80,961, and it moves over to $200,000. I'm just wondering what kind of gifts or donations those are, or where we get that.
So on page 6.
Page 6.
Okay, and we're looking at
under,
gifts and donations. So yeah, that
other
first column represents the beginning fund balance of $80,000. We kind of estimate based off of previous years $200,000. Because this one it is self-augmenting, but we also can't, if we can't unlock beginning fund balance unless we budget for it.
Okay,
So
that doesn't mean we've
200,000
received
is
the 200,000.
kind of an estimate. We have some items that we know, but that's based off kind of some historical averages of things that we see and
So that
come in through
allows
that.
us to accept donations and have a place to put them throughout the year?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Molly?
All right, thank you. And thank you for doing this. Okay, so just a clerical, if this is your final budget, on page 2, it says estimated general fund beginning balance on July 1, 2024. So I think you want to change that to 2025 on page 2. And then at the very bottom, it says estimated FY 24 operating expenditures. I think you want to make that 2025.
Yes, good catch. I apologize for that and would
It just had me so confused when I was comparing one budget to the next, and I was confused, but now I got it. Okay, so one, I just want to emphasize that, and I think it would be, you mentioned it as well, but I think this is for the public as well, to state that, no government entity can submit an unbalanced budget. This is a balanced budget. If you go side by side, page by page, you go from one fund to the next, the revenues match the expenditures. It is a balanced budget. What we're saying, the 4.5 is just deficit spending, meaning that we are proposing that we will have to go into our reserves, which looks like it is 15 million, is what our reserves are going, that is rolling over, and we're proposing to spend 4.5 million of that 15 million is what this is looking like. And so, I will vote to approve this, but I just need, and we mentioned it earlier this morning during our meeting as well, is at some point we need to stop deficit spending. We're going to either need to make cuts because, as you estimate in here as well, the enrollment is going down. I believe we stated at one point, in FY 24, we thought 7,427 students. The next year, 7,308, and then this coming year, we estimate 6,914. So as enrollment goes down, revenues stay down as well. So I would just encourage us, to, I guess, stop spending what we don't have, because in a couple years, we're not going to have anything to roll over, and that is a concern, that I have as well. But, other than that, we need to get this moving forward.
Yep. If I may, we are very cognizant of that. And for the last couple of years, we've kind of given the benefit to the doubt as we have a position that's kind of on the fence of like,
Right.
let's keep it, reduce our class size numbers, and then reevaluate. And unfortunately, the way things are, that the script is kind of flipping to where those positions that are on the fence, they'll probably need to go the other way. And we have reduced a few positions through atrophy. And as we go throughout this year, that's one thing that we would look at quite considerable is as people leave, can we reallocate our existing members to reduce a few positions, or what we need to reduce that deficit amount so that we're closer to being balanced without using our reserves. We do find ourselves in a very good position to have the reserves to be able to do that, to where we've, for the past couple of years, been able to say, well, let's give this position the benefit of the doubt. Let's keep it for another year, as opposed to removing it now and, do a really good job of providing all of the benefits that we can to our students. So, yeah.
And I recognize that, and I do appreciate it. And I do know that, this last year we were caught off guard, I think, with inflation, with auto insurance going up for the buses, and, the fuel, to run the buses, as well as utility bills. And, everybody is experiencing that as well. And it's, unfortunate that the rate of our revenue isn't going at the rate of our expenditures. That would be awfully nice. So yes, and then if I can just make a suggestion as well, when we move forward, I have asked this, previously as well. Having this meeting the Tuesday after Memorial Day weekend is extremely hard. It's hard, I think, on staff, and it's hard on us as well, going over this budget, over that weekend, and then trying to address the question. So I don't know if it could be done in a special meeting, the Thursday before Memorial Day weekend, and we do a special meeting and we nix tonight's meeting, on that end. But I would really appreciate that we look at that moving forward, because it's stressful, I think, on all of us as well, when we want to make sure that we're prepared to pass this budget. Also, I would ask of the board and of staff as well, is if we can break down some of these other funds. Like, we get a general idea of the general fund, and you can kind of see what's actual to what is being proposed, to what actual being proposed. But some of these other funds, if we could take a few meetings, and I believe I spoke to the president about this as well, but ever so often that we get some meetings to where we can actually break down these funds with the detailed line items, so we know as a board up here what they really are. Because gifts and donations, okay, I'm not really, it would be nice to just have a detailed line item, and to kind of educate us as well. It wouldn't be anything we're voting on, because it's within the budget, but we would at least get an idea of what is actually in all of these different funding mechanisms that you had great chart for, by the way, the pie chart. But yeah, just to kind of give us an idea, and then because I think it's going to take a team effort to make some cuts moving forward. And I think when these budgets move forward, the board is going to be put into a very tough position if cuts are going to be needed to be made, which I believe that, they may. I would like to make sure that I am doing my due diligence to know exactly what we're cutting. So that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you for those suggestions.
Thank you, Molly.
I do have a question. Are we able to change the timeline for the budget? Are we able to, perhaps have this agenda item at a previous meeting?
It gets kind of tricky because later we get, the more accurate information we have to develop the budget. So if we go earlier, then we're essentially just submitting the tentative budget a second time.
Gotcha.
So the later we go, the more time we have to input that. But then if we, the next board meeting is going to be after statutorily we have to provide it to taxation.
Right.
So kind of tricky. I will admit it is also difficult on the person who prepares the budget to have it during Memorial Day weekend.
Well, and Spencer, there's a range, and I forget exactly what it is, a range of dates that this has to be.
It's got to
approved by the board.
fall within 10 days of the latter part of May. I don't remember exactly. It's something to do with the something Monday of May. But there's a 10-day range that this has to fall in.
And that's why I do think, but correct me if I'm wrong, and but I do think that Thursday prior to Memorial Day weekend would work. Because you would post it on a Monday, and then we could have a special meeting on that Thursday. And then, the questions could be asked, and
Sure.
yeah.
I think, some of it depends on the way the calendar itself falls, because I know this approval hasn't always happened after that Tuesday after Memorial Day. Sometimes I think more often happens the week before Memorial Day, which helps with some of this. I will say that I think up until about 2016, 2017, we actually would have 3 meetings in the month of May. We'd have 2 regular board meetings and have a separate meeting just for the budget. But we thought we had to do it that way, and then we found that we could combine the budget into a regular board meeting. So we were able to eliminate a board meeting, which there was happiness about, I would say. But so I think there is some flexibility, and really maybe looking forward, maybe depending on how the calendar is falling within that year, we can start talking about potential adjustments if it's going to fall like this again. It does it? Okay.
Yeah.
Spencer, get
So
on
we
that.
can plan ahead.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is, ever since I've been a board member, it has fallen the Tuesday after Memorial Day weekend. And then next year it falls the Tuesday after Memorial Day weekend as well. And it's not fair. I mean, it's, we get the packet on Thursday, and, the questions that are being generated, it isn't fair on staff, and I recognize that. But then it's not fair on us board members either, taking the weekend to digest all of this and go through it. And so that's what the questions would have come this morning, on that end. So if we could, I would just ask that we, explore it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So another suggestion is to consider applying for additional grants to help us, with some of that deficit. I don't know how active we are in seeking for grants, but I'm wondering if that would be something that we could look into increasing.
We are exploring a couple of potential new grants as we speak. So we have our grants manager devotes a good portion of her time to looking for new and outside the box sources of grants rather than the ones that have been traditionally provided to us, including private sector and corporate sponsors and other items. So
Great. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, then I will entertain.
I do.
Oh,
I'm
sorry,
sorry.
Richard,
to-
go ahead.
I think everybody knows how I feel about deficit spending. I've been talking about it for 6 years.
could you remind me once more? Just kidding.
I'm not in favor of deficit spending. And up until this morning, I was really torn about whether to support this budget or not. And I will support it. But I'm glad, based upon the recognition that in the future, there's going to have to be more, not more attention paid, but some consideration of reducing that deficit spending, if not eliminating it. So at this time, I will support it.
I appreciate you expressing your concern. As that's what we all face in the education world in Nevada is that's kind of the picture that's painted statewide. And I appreciate you expressing your concern for that.
Thank you. Okay, so at this point, I will entertain a motion.
I move that the Carson City School District Board of Trustees adopt the final budget for the fiscal year 2025-26 by approving the resolution and transmittal letter, and further instruct the Director of Fiscal Services to file the necessary documents to comply with NRS Chapter 354.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by trustee Walt and second by trustee Varner. Any board discussion? See none? Any public comment? See none? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And Mr. Winward, thank you so much for all this work. I can only imagine you probably go nights without sleeping because you have to, work on these tremendous projects. So thank you.
Very
for all your
literally.
work.
Thank you, all members of the board.
All right. Okay, so moving on to agenda item number 13, discussion and possible action to approve the Carson City School District Board of Trustees nominations to the Nevada Association of School Boards of Individuals to be considered for recognition during the NASB's 2025 annual conference, and this is for possible action. So as we recall, at our last board meeting, we decided we were going to have a subcommittee review the input that we received from the district staff. And by the way, thank you to those individuals that did take the time to nominate their colleagues for these prestigious nominations or these prestigious awards. We want to thank you. And I also want to thank Superintendent Feeling for creating that survey that he sent to the staff. So I appreciate your time. It's not like you don't have anything else to do, but you helped us with that, so thank you. And so Trustee Roberts and Trustee Peterson and myself got together and reviewed that input, that information we received from the district, and we came up with three individuals or three candidates to share with you, and then as a board, we will identify one or two. For some nominations, we do have the option to nominate two individuals. So, and then we can identify which ones those are, and we will also identify who is writing the letters of nominations for those particular individuals. And as I recall, it was decided that us three would take those, the responsibility. Once we are done with those nominations, then we will go on with the rest of the nominations, and then we will disseminate those candidates, or we will have other board members to help us. Of course, yeah. We'll go for a 5-minute recess? Yes, okay. to help us with the clarification on how to proceed with this agenda item?
So, Ms. President, just for clarity of the record, there was a process where the superintendent conducted a survey and received nominations from staff and others that were provided to all of the board members. The committee that was appointed by the president met and has their own recommendations for you to consider. We want the record to be clear that you are not limited to those recommendations. You can still consider any of the other folks that were nominated, and you can go completely on your own and nominate truly whoever you want. The committee was formed and performed a task to make recommendations. It did not limit any choices for the board.
Perfect, thank you. Are we good with that? Okay, so then if we can refer to our handout that we received on our packet and start off with School Administrator of the Year. And this is to recognize the invaluable service provided to Nevada's children by professional school administrators. And please note that for this category, we are able to nominate 2 individuals. And again, as Mr. Russell noted, we did have that handout with the input that we received from the staff. And so the top 3 individuals that we recommend for consideration is Dr. Susan Molden, Ms. Carrie Pryor, and Mr. Josh Billings. And again, those are the 3 that we recommend, but as noted, we are able to come up with additional recommendations for other individuals for this category. We are able to nominate 2, correct?
I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay, so then are we?
So, just to make this a little streamlined for you, what I would recommend is making nominations. We'll keep track of them as we go, and we'll have
Okay.
one motion at the end for all of it.
Okay, thank you. So we'll make a motion, you're going to make a motion for?
It's going to make a nomination.
Nomination.
You're going to make a nomination?
I gotcha.
Thank you, correction.
I'd like to nominate Sue Molden and Josh Billings.
Okay. Any additional recommendations for the School Administrator of the Year? Okay, so it looks like there's none. We will move on.
Who's keeping track of that?
You are, thank you. We'll go on to the next one, which is School District Employee Making a Difference. And again, for this one is 2 nominations. And this is to recognize the invaluable service provided to Nevada's children by employees who work behind the scenes to impact student learning and achievement. And we have identified Eva Bickmore. She's an office specialist from Fritch Elementary School. Sherry Fletcher, she oversees the transportation. And then Miss Elizabeth Winfield, crossing guard and noon duty at Fremont Elementary School. Those are the 3 that we recommend. Any additional recommendations? See none? Yes, we are able to nominate 2.
Can I see your cheat sheet?
This right here? Oh, yes, yes. So this right here, and then this.
Okay. Well, you can add. I do want to nominate Sherry Fletcher. Did you want me to go? Okay, and then I will do, I would like to also nominate Eva, is it Bickmore?
Bickmore. Okay. Any additional recommendations? We're good? Okay, we'll move
Yeah.
on.
I would love Elizabeth Wingfield, the crossing guard at Fremont, to stay on the table for that one as well.
Elizabeth Winfield?
Mhm.
So we have three. So how would we proceed with this?
I would pull the board on who their individual nominations are for this one.
Individual? Okay. So then we'll start off with Eva Bickmore. So we'll take votes.
So I think, don't take votes. I would just ask each individual who their two nominations are, and I'll keep tally tracks for you so we can make a motion at the end.
Gotcha. Okay, very good. So then we'll start out with you, Michelle. Who are your top two?
Eva and Elizabeth. Eva Bickmore and Elizabeth Wingfield.
Okay, great. Rebecca?
Same, Elizabeth Wingfield and Eva Bickmore.
Okay. Richard?
Can we ask, I don't know this Eva Bigmore or what she does. Could they explain that to us?
Sure.
Go ahead and read that.
Explain why you're nominating somebody. You're absolutely at liberty to do that.
I'd like to know that.
Would you like us to do it by way of reading the write-up or just in our own
I
feedback?
believe, was it you who nominated her? Did you remember? We can read it. Okay. Yeah, I can read it for Eva. So Eva has been with Fridge for almost 10 years as a noon aide, a reading interventionist, and a phenomenal kindergarten para, and finally and currently as a front office specialist. She makes that office run so smoothly. She works hard, she takes initiative, and she is so professional, kind, and considerate to all staff, students, and anyone that walks in the front door. Eva can probably name most of our students and can remember details about them that makes them feel special and one of a kind.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a while since I read that, so thank you for
You'll take that one?
reminding me.
Sherry, sure. So Sherry Fletcher has worked for the, but is this going to make it unfair to the rest of the nominations?
No, you guys are all able to make your nominations and can justify it however you want.
Okay.
So if somebody's nominated Sherry and they just want that letter read, they can do that. If somebody wants to back up the nomination for Eva or Elizabeth, you guys are welcome to do that.
Okay. All right, so then Sherry Fletcher has worked for the school district for over 27 years and has worked her way up to being supervisor of the transportation department. She runs a department of approximately 47 employees. Her dedication to the district and her job is exemplary. I have known, this is the third party, I have known her for 11 years when I first started in human resources since 2014. I am so lucky to have her as my boss now. Her knowledge of all the routes, times, and even all of the special kids' names and what bus they ride is astonishing. She has created a warm and inviting atmosphere for her employees. If you are a team player, then you are in the right place here with Sherry. The bus drivers and aides have welcomed me so much that I feel like I have been here for many years. All of her staff know they can come in and talk to her at any time and feel at home. Her patient sense of humor and loving care makes her the best boss. I really hope she stays with transportation longer than her 30 years. And then for Elizabeth, for the past 16 years, she has safely crossing students on Firebox Road. She greets students in the moments by name. She always offers a friendly reminder to their best as they leave her on the corner. When she arrives for lunch duty, she is constantly checking in with students and asking them how their day is going. She encourages students to play safely, but also allows those who may not have the same amount of social skills to hang out with her and walk the perimeter and monitor for safety. At the end of the day, you will find her right back at her post by the crosswalk. She is known to hand out a piece of candy or two on any given day to parents and students alike. Right before spring break, she made sure that everyone who used her crosswalk received a chocolate bunny. I am nominating her because this is what our job is, to create a warm and positive environment where students are cared about for who they are and what they bring to this world. Liz is a gift to many students and has been for over a decade and a half at Fremont. So, does that help? Okay. So where did we leave off? Okay.
I would go along with Sherry Fletcher and Elizabeth Wingfield.
Okay. Matt?
Sherry and Elizabeth.
Okay. Molly? Okay. And I will vote for Sherry and Elizabeth. Okay. Great. Now, moving on to District Level Administrator of the Year, Impacting Student Achievement. And we had 3 nominations, and that was Susan Molden, Daniel Sadler, and Lauren Cimino, I believe is how you pronounce it. So do we have additional nominations? And this is for the district level employee making a difference, impacting student achievement.
I have a possible Dr. Tanya Scott,
Do we want, okay, additional ones, so Dr. Tanya Scott?
the Director of English Language and Pre-K Programs.
Okay, so that's the additional one, so we've got 4 now. Anybody else? So we got 4. Okay, then we will start off with your 2 nominees. Let's see, Michelle, start off with you.
My 2 would be Sue Molden and Dan Sadler.
Okay. I'm sorry, Sue Molden and who else?
Daniel Sadler.
Daniel, thank you. Okay. And then Rebecca? So we're just coming up with our 2. Sorry? Lauren, okay. Lauren is a workhorse. She is there to support her teachers in all their content. She has worked well with each group in developing comprehensive proficiency scales. Lauren's unrelenting support for her teachers ensures a high standard of learning with supportive teaching. This one is for District Level Administrator of the Year, Impacting Student Achievement.
Okay.
It wasn't clear to me, is she a district level administrator?
CTE testing coordinator and instruction coach. So that would be a department.
So she definitely has an impact on at a district-wide level. Not technically an administrator, though. I don't.
So then would that disqualify her from this category?
You know, I sit on the nominating committee, and they're very precise in what they look at. And if they can't determine what position they actually hold or what duties they
It
are,
disqualifies them.
it doesn't really disqualify them, but
They don't get those points. I see what you're saying. Okay. So then do we want to?
Probably not.
It sounds like she does not meet all the criteria, so we want to continue with the 3 that we have, unless there are additional ones that you, 4. No, wait, sorry. That was 3, sorry. So Mr. Dan Sandler, and then Dr. Susan, and Dr. Tanya Scott.
And you don't have to take anybody off of the list. You're just going down the line. Anybody can nominate whoever they want. We'll just take a vote at the end for whoever got the most nominations to fill each spot.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then since Susan Molden was nominated for another one, they can be nominated for as many. That's fine too. Okay. And then Richard, why Dr. Scott?
If you know Dr. Scott at all, she's a very hard worker. She's at almost every event that I've been at in some capacity. She assisted in helping bring that astronaut to Carson. She wasn't the one that actually contacted him, but she was really highly involved in setting it up. And then she runs the EL program. She does on the weekends. They have art shows at the community, not a community center, but the, not the library, but the downtown
The
one.
Children's Museum.
Yeah, right. And she's there all the time. I was at an art show that they put on just last week or week before, and lo and behold, turn around and she's there, you know, assisting with that. So I just think she works very hard for the district and puts in a lot of effort. And, you know, like I said, the EL program is a very important program that we have here, and she runs that, and she does a very good job in it. And then in the pre-K also.
Okay.
And that's definitely a district level position.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry,
what?
I was just going to clarify too. I'm not sure that Sue Molden would actually qualify for this either, because she's considered a school administrator, not necessarily a district level administrator.
Mm-hmm.
So I think probably removing.
So then we're down to Mr. Dan Sandler and Dr. Tanya Scott.
Okay.
Are we good with that?
Yeah.
Everyone's okay with that?
Mhm.
Okay. Sold. No, just kidding. Okay. And then, moving on. Okay, so award to a friend of K through 12 public education. We're continuing with the ones that we got feedback from. And then we'll go back to the others. Okay, so again, this is award to a friend of K through 12 public education. And we have Paula Baum, Kristen Kohi. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. I'm sorry. Kohi. Sorry. Coey. Kristen Coey. She's the director of programs for the Greenhouse Project on the Carson High School campus. And Children's Museum of Northern Nevada. Those are the top three that we recommend for consideration. Are there additional ones? This is when we are able to add additional ones.
Yes, I would like to see Dana Whaley with Carson City Toyota.
Thank you.
Dana Whaley with Carson City Toyota.
Okay. Anybody else? I know last year we recommended the Sheriff's Department and they did not get selected. Are we able to resubmit the selection or the nomination rather? If so, I'd like to move that one. Yeah, I would like to include that one.
I would also like to include Mayor Lori Bagwell.
Yes, yes, definitely.
I was just gonna say that with whoever is part of giving the bikes, is that something through her? Is that something?
It's a combined effort
Yeah,
from,
so
but it's
she-
her initiative.
Yeah, it's her
It's
initiative.
side.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
It's her initiative, and then Carson City Toyota has been a partner in helping fund that with many others.
Right,
because
right.
They're a lead partner.
And for this one, it's my understanding that we are only able to select one. Can we do that? Can we do that?
kind of make it as a thing on absenteeism. Yeah, so that would be like the initiative. I
Okay.
guess it would be on, okay.
Excellent. So then,
So they just said that we could combine the two of them.
are we in agreement to move forward with Mayor Bagwell and Dana Whaley?
I still very passionately support Paula Baum, and I know I'll be outnumbered, but she is
Okay.
incredible and in a
Okay.
million ways and has been for decades.
Okay.
That's my vote as well. She's
Two,
Paula.
two for, okay. And then, Richard?
I would go with Mayor Bagwell and Dana Wynn. Okay,
Whaley? Okay.
whatever she said.
Matt?
I like the sheriff's office as well.
Okay. And Molly, I think you already said it? Okay. I'm gonna go with Mayor Bagwell and Dana Whaley. That's definitely one strong program that we need all the help we can get, you know, in absenteeism, so I feel like they're contributing tremendously to make improvement in that area. Okay, so do we have,
We don't. So that leaves, you have two for Baum, one for the sheriff's office, and three for Whaley and Bagwell. So when it comes time to vote on this, unless somebody wants to change their vote, we'll have to single this one out and do it separately.
Mayor Bagwell is fine for me.
Mayor Bagwell?
Yeah.
Mayor Bagwell? Okay.
With Dana Whaley?
Are we good? Okay. All right, moving on to innovative educator. Okay. And for this one, it's also just one individual that needs to be submitted. So we have Brenda Ramirez, who is the attendance dash dean, Carson High School. What is her position? It says Brenda Ramirez, attendance dean dash Carson High School. Interventionist, okay. Okay. And then Mrs. Jennifer Chandler. And then the third one is Mr. Cody Downing. Those are the ones that were recommended for the innovative educator.
Just so the record's consistent and clear, are there any other nominations?
Thank you. Are there any additional nominations that you would like to bring forward? No? Looks like none? Okay. So we can go ahead and start our our vote or nominee. Sorry.
From the list provided, my nomination would be Cody Downing.
I'm sorry.
Of the names provided, Cody Downing is my nomination.
Okay.
Jennifer Chandler.
Okay. Richard?
Jennifer Chandler.
Jennifer, okay. Matt?
Jennifer Chandler.
Okay. Molly?
Miss Chandler.
Ms. Chandler? Okay. I am tossed between Chandler and Cody. So I'm going to go with Cody Downing. I think that project from this year was just incredible. So I think he's very well deserving of the nomination. Okay, excellent. Okay, so that concludes the list of the nominees that we reviewed. So then we'll go back to the packet and identify the nominees for the other categories. And that would be the NASB Director of the Year. And this is to recognize the consistent, effective communication skills demonstrated during meetings of the NASB Board of Directors, as well as promotion of leadership skills and strategies to recognizing and rewarding student administrator, educator, staff, school, and district achievement. So I personally believe Richard Varner is a very good candidate. I know we nominated you last year, but you did not receive it, correct?
I received it year before last or something,
The
or
year
2 years ago.
Was that the director of the year, or was it a different one? Wasn't it the executive?
Yeah, that was the executive
It was
director's award.
a different
Yeah.
category, correct?
And we can also nominate people outside
Outside of the,
of here, you know, so.
okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I would then, because you are NASB and
Yes.
Mike as well, so I would refer to you on what your thoughts would be. I most definitely would second the nomination from President Ramirez, but I would like to know what your thoughts are. Not like you're on the spot or anything.
Yeah, I am. No. Oh, thanks. And there's a lot of good directors, and without seeing their names right in front of me, we have Dr. Nicolette, but she's an officer of the board. I'd almost have to pull up and see the names, and so maybe we can come back to that, or
You can. You don't need more than one nomination if you don't want one. It's okay to just have one for this.
I feel comfortable going with the nomination for you. Yeah? I think you're very well deserving of the nomination. You're very knowledgeable. You bring us a thorough report at our meeting. So, again, I think you're very well deserving of that award or nomination. Okay.
Any other nominations?
Any other nominations? I'm so sorry. Any other nominations? We're good. Okay. NASB Veteran School Board Member of the Year, and this is to recognize the dedicated service and leadership of local school board members who have served for more than one term. Has Mike? I haven't. Okay.
I would like to nominate President Lupe Ramirez.
Thank you. Any additional?
Yeah, I'd like to nominate
Nomination.
Molly. I was gonna hold Lupe. Are we veteran? It just
Veteran.
says one more than one term. Are you in your first term? Okay, I was gonna say I was gonna hold Molly because there's a board member that's 2+ terms is another one. Okay.
Yeah, Mike.
And Lupe, are you in your second right now?
Term.
Okay, so you wouldn't qualify for that one. You would qualify for this one.
Correct, for the veteran, not
Okay.
not the second one.
All right. Well then, Lupe. Well, you're do great.
Any additional names that you want to bring forward? Okay. All right. So we're good with that? Thank you. All right, second one, or the next one, NASB New School Board Member of the Year. And this is to recognize the dedicated service of Nevada's newest school board members. So last year we nominated Matt. I would be more than happy to nominate him again, or Michelle or Rebecca, either one. Any additional, what's the input from the rest of the board?
This is where I can throw
Yeah.
Molly, right?
Yes, yes.
the next one also requires 2 terms.
Oh, shoot, that's right, that's right,
Yeah.
that's right, sorry.
So there's a new, somebody who's at least done at least one term and someone who's done at least 2 terms are the 3. Yeah.
Okay. So,
The new school board member would be somebody currently in term 1.
Okay.
Yes. So I go Molly on that.
2 nominations right now, just so I'm clear.
I'll nominate Molly as well.
So, Lupe, you nominated Matt.
I nominated Matt.
Michelle, you nominated Molly. Okay. Now you can ask if there are any others.
I'm sorry?
Do you want to go down the line and see
Well,
who else?
You got to ask first if there are any
Yes.
other nominations.
Okay, are there any additional nominations? None? See none? Okay. So then start with Michelle,
Molly.
Molly, Rebecca,
Matt.
Richard,
Molly.
okay.
Molly.
Matt.
Can I choose both? Can I choose Matt and Molly? I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm gonna go with Molly. We're good? Okay. And then we move on to individual school, am I correct? Okay. Individual school board member of the year?
I'll nominate Mike Walker.
Yes, and I think he would be the only one that would fall under this category because he's got more than 2 years.
All right.
So I think we're all good with Mike? Yes, Mike Walker.
The only concern,
But do we have additional?
I
We
was just
can
gonna say the only-
select people from outside of this board, correct?
the only concern is, Mike Walker's president of NASB. And I don't know if that
Would that
would,
create a conflict of interest?
I don't know if it, no.
It certainly doesn't for you guys voting on this today.
Right? Because, yeah,
Okay,
it's
thank
not
you.
the NASB identifying him for this category, right?
NASB's not appointing or making the nomination. You guys
Okay.
are.
Okay, so we are able to
Only one
nominate
that
him then.
fits the criteria, so.
And again, we are able to also consider other board members from other boards, other districts. Correct? Unless we're all good with Mike. It's up to you guys. Are we good?
I'm good with Mike.
You're good with Mike, okay.
Good, Mike.
Everyone is okay with Mike? Yeah, I see everyone nodding their heads. Yeah, so we're good. Will you accept that? Okay, very good. So Naz, award to a friend of K through 12, we already did that. And we already did innovative. And NASB Media Award for Outstanding Education Reporting. So this is for the media. Do we have recommendations?
Jessica Garcia.
She won 2 years ago, didn't
She-
she?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Richard, do we know how long we have to wait before we are able to nominate those individuals for the award again?
Yeah, no, it doesn't have to be done right now. I think we have up until maybe actually September.
No, I'm so sorry.
Oh.
So since she was already the recipient of the award, how long do we have to, how many years?
As
do we
far
have
as
to
I
wait?
know, there's no restriction.
There's no restriction, okay.
That's never been brought up in any of our meetings about, you can only win it twice, or you have to wait 3 years. There's
Right.
been no.
Okay,
So
so
I'd
to
be
your knowledge,
comfortable
no
with nominating
restrictions.
her again.
Okay. How do you guys feel?
Did, last year Nevada Independence got nominated, right?
Yes, right? But they did not receive the nomination,
didn't.
correct? They did not win, okay. So do we want to consider them also?
Yes.
Last year, you guys nominated Rocio Hernandez with the Nevada Independent.
Okay. Okay.
And she's still the one who's doing all of the legislative session updates, right?
Is she?
Jen, okay.
Okay.
I would like to put her back on.
Okay. So what is her name again? Okay, so Rocio from Nevada Independent. Okay, so then are there additional nominations? See none? Okay, so then do we want to go with Rocio? And who else did we have? Jessica, definitely. So, okay, so then we're gonna start count. Okay, so what is your recommendation, Michelle?
Jessica.
Jessica, okay.
I'm looking at Jessica, and I can tell she really doesn't want to do this. So Rosio.
Rocio, okay. And then Matt,
Rocio.
Rocio, and Molly,
Rocio.
okay, and Rocio as well.
But Jessica,
You're up.
thank
Yeah,
you
you're at
for
the
all your
hook
work.
this time, Jessica. Look. Okay. Next one is School Board Governance Team of the Year. Right? Easy peasy. Yes, Carson City School Board. Okay. Any additional ones? I don't see any. Okay, then Carson City School Board it is. All right, board secretary or administrative assistant or other board support staff person of the year. And as always, we always want to nominate Renee because she's so very well deserving of this nomination or this award every year. But we also want to ask AJ Fielding to get input from you as far as recommendations that you have for us.
We can nominate Renee every year.
You agree with me?
Want to. I would just offer to, last year we nominated Gina Hines, who works behind the scenes in our Ed Services office, and so much of the reporting and work that she does comes to you within consent agenda items and approvals. And she's amazing too. She didn't end up winning last year, but that was who we nominated. So I would just submit that as well. I think we could renominate Gina or renominate Renee.
Okay. So, additional ones?
Just for clarity, is a member of the board wanting to nominate Gina?
Does the rest of the board want to nominate
Gina.
Jen? I don't see any feedback yet. No?
I would go ahead and nominate her.
I'm sorry?
I would nominate Gina.
Okay, so yes. Okay, now are there additional ones? As for board support, Spencer would be considered board support too? Administrative assistant, that's right. Okay, forgive me. Okay. All right. Because he said or other board support staff.
I think the intent is more around
Administrative side?
like
Okay. Okay, very good. Okay, then,
or like other maybe classified staff potentially, but
okay. So then we're gonna start with Michelle. First, I guess I just need to double check. Are there any additional recommendations? If I see none, then go ahead. Michelle?
Renee.
Renee?
Renee.
Renee? Okay.
Renee.
Good.
Renee.
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 I picked Gina.
She's like, get me out of this one. Okay, Renee it is. Okay. All right, and then NASB Superintendent of the Year.
can I recommend someone for consideration? So the superintendent from Eureka County, Tate Else, he's been superintendent, I think, for 6 or 7 years. He currently serves on the State Board of Education as a NAS representative, and he is the current vice president for NAS, and just about as involved as you can be when you're living in Eureka. But I think just does a great job advocating and just great human being. So that would be my suggestion. And the nominee you put forward last year was Adam Young, who is the White Pine superintendent, and he won along with the superintendent from Lincoln. There was a Tate Else, E-L-S-E.
All right, so I nominate Tate Else from Eureka.
Okay. Any additional nominations?
AJ Feeling.
Okay. AJ Feeling?
I did get it 2 years ago, so but thank you.
But that was a co. It was two different individuals. So this time it would be just him. Just saying. Okay. All right. Any additional ones? Additional names? No? If not, then okay. So I will start with, again, going back to you, Michelle.
Tate.
Okay. Rebecca?
Tate.
Okay. Richard?
I know that AJ won it several years ago, about 2 years ago, and he's a very humble guy. And so I think for this year, I'd go with the Eureka County person.
Tate?
Yeah, how do you pronounce the name again? I'm sorry.
Right? Tater. Okay. So Tate?
Although I think AJ is doing a great job.
I think he would be amazing too. Matt?
I take our guy any day. AJ.
Tate? Molly?
Tate. Oh, Tate. Who'd you say?
It was a vote for AJ, right? Okay.
I'm sorry. AJ?
Yeah, AJ.
Okay.
Yeah, our guy.
Okay.
Tate.
Tate? AJ. Okay, we are done. So, okay, we are ready to.
Are you going to read it and then we just say second?
What I can do on this, you guys, is give you a whole motion. If it's what you want, you can say so moved, get second, go to public comment, and then vote on it.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so nomination for School Administrator of the Year, Molden and Billings. Nomination for District Employee Making a Difference, Winfield and Fletcher. District Level Administrator of the Year, Impacting Student Achievement, Mr. Sadler and Dr. Scott. NASB Director of the Year, Mr. Varner. Veteran School Board Member of the Year, President Ramirez. New School Board Member of the Year, Trustee Walt. Individual School Member of the Year, Trustee Walker. Friend of K-12 Public Education, Dana Whaley and Lori Bagwell. Innovative Educator of the Year, Jen Chandler. NASB Media Award for Outstanding Education Reporting, Rocio Hernandez, Nevada Independent. School Board Governance Team of the Year, Carson City School District. Board Secretary or Administrative Assistant or other board staff support person of the year, Mrs. Cortez. NASB Superintendent of the Year, Tate Else. And those are the list of nominations. So if you would like to make a motion to approve those nominations, now's the time.
Okay, so motion by Trustee Wall and second by Trustee Kaplan. Any board discussion? Seeing none, any public comment? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much, Mr. Russell, for helping us with that. And again,
Sorry, the superintendent and I were just talking. He'll email you about maybe who can write letters for each
Oh,
of the
we do
nominated
need to.
individuals.
Oh, yes, we did not discuss that. That's
And
right.
Ms. Renee will make sure you guys know
Okay.
when to have those turned in by.
Okay. So we'll get an email from you, Renee. Thank you so much. Okay, very good. So yeah, so just be prepared to sign up to write the letters of recommendation for those individuals. Awesome. Thank you so much. And again, thanks everyone who helped out with this task. Thank you, Michelle, and thank you, Rebecca, for working with me on reviewing those comments from the district. And again,
If I could, there's a lot of these people who have been nominated before, so there's letters on file that we may be able to get and just update.
Right. Yeah, thank you for making that note. Yep.
And
That will be helpful.
I would note too, when we, first, the few that we sent out the surveys for, it was included in there that if your candidate who you suggested is nominated, we would come back to you to ask you for help with writing a little bit more. So I know some people wrote more than others, but that may help as well.
Okay.
I can tell you by being, that the more detail, the better.
The
in
better?
These letters, yeah.
And maybe gathering data that would support those nominations. Would that be helpful?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you can.
Great. Awesome.
Also, a couple of suggestions, Lupe. We talked about it would be helpful, AJ, if we added on that survey how many years served in the district they have. And then could that maybe come to us as well, just to make this part better? Because as we've nominated our own people, some of us know nothing about them. So just to be able to have that little blip if there's recommendations from
Yeah.
the board.
Perfect. For this year too? Oh, for next year.
For next year.
For next year. Perfect. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rebecca, for remembering to do that. Yeah. We talked about it when we met, but I forgot. Okay, very good. Agenda item number 14, discussion and possible action to cancel the July 8th, 2025 school board meeting. And this is for possible action. And it is my understanding that that weekend, the 4th of July weekend is prior to the July 8th meeting. And so many people are on vacation. So if we are in agreement to cancel that meeting, I would entertain a motion, since this is an action item.
I move that the Carson City School District Board of Trustees cancel the July 8th, 2025 school board meeting.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, so motion by trustee Clapham and second by trustee Roberts. Any board discussion?
Yeah, I
Yes?
do. I mean,
Go ahead.
I'm a little confused. July 4th is on Friday.
So it's the,
Right.
So
And then
the-
the
the
8th is on Tuesday. So it seems like, I guess I'm wondering why we,
so the 4th of July holiday
is on
is on
Friday.
Friday.
So you would have Friday off, the 5th, 6th, and 7th. Then the 8th would be on that Tuesday, so.
And that weekend prior is when people would be on vacation and we would not have.
Well, I think it was, so this meeting has been canceled for some time, and I think it's just to make sure, because some people are leaving the area, they're going on longer vacations around that time. It's not so much that it was like right next to that date or right on that date, but just generally in that time, a lot of times people are out and about.
But it is a 4th of July weekend, Friday. Many people, yeah, the long weekend. Do you have concerns or?
No, I mean, if that's the way you guys want it, I'm fine with it.
Yeah? Okay. Okay, so we have a motion on the table, so then, you seconded, okay, so, so motion by trustee Clapham and then second by trustee Peterson, and then we had the discussion. Any additional discussion? Any public comment?
Just clarifying, the second was Roberts. not
Roberts, I'm
Peterson.
sorry, Roberts, thank you. Okay, all those in favor? Aye, any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, agenda item number 15, approval of consent agenda, and this is for possible action.
I move that the Carson City School District Board of Trustees approve the consent agenda as submitted.
I'll second it.
Okay, so motion by trustee Clapham and second by trustee Varner. Any board discussion? See none. Any public comment? See none. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Agenda item number 16, informational items, and this is for discussion only. No action will be taken. Any questions or comments? Okay. Agenda item number 17, request for future agenda item topics.
I do. It doesn't need to be at the next meeting, but if we can get update on grants, kind of, what we've received in the past and, what we might be losing. I think that's important, because we talk about that this one isn't going to be moving forward. And if we can get an update and then on some future ones that we've been applying for, that would be great.
Perfect. And then also, I would like to add, if we can add to the agenda, to a future agenda, about our board retreat that we've discussed in the past, so we can identify a date and work on the agenda and whatnot. Okay, very good. Agenda item number 18, adjournment. Thank you so much, everyone.